Welcome to the 2017-2018 Cape Henlopen School District Testing Security Plan. Please keep the following document at your fingertips as we approach the testing windows. I will be sending out an email with this document as well as others that are going to become especially important. Contact information. Please feel free to contact your school test coordinator, which is myself, or Dr. Michael Young with any test questions. For DCAS Alt, or the alternative assessment, please feel free to ask questions to all of us. Liz Cherico and Steve Huber are becoming the experts on the alternative assessment. This is new this year, and everyone is in the middle of trainings for this test. The state of Delaware has asked all districts to submit a testing security plan. Having a uniform plan for all Cape schools is helpful because security irregularities or violations need to be handled in a consistent manner. Security concerns apply to all test settings: DCAS, Smarter Balanced, Advanced Placement, SAT, PSAT, Component 5, pre and post testing, and school district common assessments. Security violations have the potential to have an impact on students, educators, parents, individual schools, and the district as a whole. Development of a district-wide plan helps minimize confusion and protect staff by giving them information they need to remain in compliance. All state assessment items and testing materials are secure and must also be handled appropriately. Secure handling protects the integrity, validity, and confidentiality of all assessment instruments, items, prompts, and student information. Any deviation in test administration must be reported as a test security incident to ensure the continued validity of the assessment results. Failure to honor security at the required level severely jeopardizes district and state accountability requirements and the accuracy of student data. To maintain proper testing procedures and to avoid potential testing violation, the district expects all CAPE staff who are not test administrators to complete the DESA security-only training. This includes secretaries, administrative support, building techs, custodians, nurses, anyone who may enter a testing room. The module number is 26402. It is 30 minutes, and if you are not able to access the training through PDMS, then you may use the PDF document that I can provide and sign off on that. We can review it together, answer any questions to move forward. To maintain proper testing procedures and to avoid potential testing violation, the district expects all CAPE instructional staff involved with test administration to take all online certifications required. You will also have a test administration manual at each session and will read it to students as written. All test administrators will be taking the DESA entry training at 24246. Many of us have already taken this training. There's a topical breakdown before you. The summative test administrators will also be taking the summative TA training, which is 30 minutes. This is in addition to the previously mentioned training. There are also trainings specific to the DESA alternate assessment. There are about 5 trainings. We have had many conversations. There has been lots of information shared, and I know that many of us are working our way through all that is required of the alternate assessment this year. There are other specific trainings for things like the paper pencil test for those test administrators. There are specific trainings for special ed coordinators, for your school test coordinators, and there's information that we share on an as-needed basis. If you are a paraprofessional, you can consult with your school test coordinator to identify what specific training modules apply to you. To maintain proper testing procedures, the district expects all CAPE instructional staff involved in the test administration to understand and comply with their duty to report. This is really important. This year, we need to really emphasize and make a priority that any breaches or any issues need to be reported both verbally and in writing to the school testing coordinator. There are 3 categories: an impropriety, an irregularity, and a breach, all of which have time constraints associated with them. Before testing, it's super important that all test administrators take all of the necessary training and that you become familiar with the test administration manual. We also are asking that you check accommodations in Delsis and Tide. This is just incredibly important. Waiting until the last minute is really stressful. We need to be checking the accommodations through Tide as early as we can to make sure that we are prepared for testing. Accommodations are supposed to be entered by March 1st. So this means if you have a student who has an IEP after March 1st and you anticipate that they will need accommodations changed or added, you might want to think about changing that IEP date or having a revision to make any necessary changes to the testing accommodations. You want to make sure you review all protocols for reading and scribing, that you practice using the approved documents for math and science, that you give students at least one practice test. Give students at least one practice test. You want to make sure that they're comfortable with the platform before you begin testing. Coordinate testing day activities with your building test coordinator and cover up or take down reference materials in the testing room. We are also asking that you start thinking about your testing schedule using the testing calendar that was on the second slide of this presentation, and that will be sent to you in an email. I need you to start looking at those dates and decide when you are going to start testing and in what subjects. And we'll talk about that a little bit more, but we're going to need to come up with a schedule. DOE visits during the testing window to make sure that we are upholding the integrity of the test, and they require that we submit our schedules. So we need to have that on our radar. During testing, it's important that you read all instructions to the students as presented in the manual, that you actively monitor students, and that you report any testing incidents to your school testing coordinator. After testing, there are specific activities that are either recommended, suggested, allowed, or prohibited. Please carefully review these activities. This is especially important for things like cell phone use, any writing in a journal or diary, anything like that is absolutely prohibited. If somebody from DOE is in your testing environment and notices that while others are testing, that would be considered an incident. That would be a report that would need to be filed with the Department of Education. We have do not disturb signs. I have a testing checklist that I'm going to provide for you. There are electronic device procedures, and we have the incident report form. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email or set up a time to talk with me. I'm more than happy to help you wrap your head around the testing procedures and protocol. And I will be in touch with all of you as we get closer to review this in person. But figure the sooner the better when it comes to giving information. We just had our meeting about testing this week for all the district test coordinators. So I wanted to make sure you had as much information as early as possible as we move forward. Thanks, everybody.